Like, what were you thinking from the outside looking in as a holder of these assets while you were watching the team before you perform in the way that they did?
Yeah, so I'm actually kind of not happy about how I acted towards them because now that I'm in their shoes, I understand how difficult this business is. You have to understand, like, I'm somebody who's known for making money in a lot of different places. I think there's maybe 7 or 8 different categories of businesses that I've generated millions of dollars in, from SaaS to B2B to D2C to, consumer product goods, like the whole nine, info products. I mean, the list goes on. And this is the most complex by far. It's not even close, right? Because one fatal move can be disastrous. And so, I really actually, that the team, I got to know them, like they're good people, like they're good kids. At the end of the day, I could not imagine this being my first business. Now, they made some mistakes, but that's what you do when you're young. Everybody makes mistakes. I have a long list of mistakes that I've made in my life, and I hope nobody faults me for them. And so it's one of those situations where you look back at what happened with them. I was one of those people that was actually in their ear, like, dude, what are you doing? Right. But little did I understand the magnitude of exactly what this business entailed and how many facets you really, and so many personalities you have to understand. It's a very interesting business, to say the least. And so I've sensed, like, I don't think I've ever apologized to them for, maybe they didn't even know, but like we're friends, but like if they're listening, Cole, sorry for fudding you guys, because that was a mistake. Like, like it's difficult. Now, there's some things that are inexcusable, like hatching a fishing rod in an egg, right? That's not even biologically correct, right? So
Wait,
I think, like,
it's
there's just
not.
no. But I asked him, and he said they didn't think of anything better, and I was like, wait, no.
Did they
Yeah,
wait?
told me this.
So did the eggs exist before they had decided like what asset was going to
Yeah,
come out of
yeah,
them?
yeah, yeah, yeah. So
Classic.
the eggs were live. Not only did they exist, they were alive for like 3 to 4 months, just eggs, not even hatched. And then when they finally hatched, everyone thought there'd be, like, I mean, what hatches in eggs? A mammal, right, of some sort. And then boom comes this fishing rod, and I was
This is all new. This is all news to me. I dropped out of high school in sophomore year, so I kind of skipped sex ed. So I'm learning a lot right now. Also, if Frank D Gods is listening, please don't let the Utes reveal to be a fucking fishing rod.
that'd be great. I mean,
Dude, that's yeah, man. It's out of all of like the businesses that you've been successful in, I think like CPG is like the most slept on form of like a way to onboard people in Web3, in my opinion. Like
number one form, dude. In my
yeah, dude. Like it's like I got to meet you in person yesterday at that Ape Water launch, and dude, I have never seen a better usage of IP in Web3 like since I saw that product. Like it just makes sense.
Yep.
Like everyone drinks water.
And it's going to have the same liquid death effect. I mean, Andrew's going to end up making hundreds of millions of dollars on that business. I mean, I'm on their advisory board, so I'm familiar with his plans. But I mean, at the end of the day, like, liquid death, it's not rocket science, right? It's about mass appeal and what touches people. And Bored Ape is doing all the hard work. Like, he just needs to slap a can, do good events, curate a great experience, make sure those are the right, funnel metrics that are in place. And it's a multi-$100 million a year business.
Ape Water, please sponsor NG My podcast. Thank you very much. Thank you.
He totally would.
Yeah, look at this boring water that doesn't have an NFT on it. I have to drink. This is terrible.
I think, Luca, that's really smart. Whenever you talk about sort of the Bored Ape IP doing a lot of the heavy lifting. By the way, speaking of IPs doing lifting and people buying cool ones in order to license them as the brand, the IP does the heavy lifting. Let's talk about the recent Fudrick Douglas Pudgy Penguin purchase, dude. Will you remind me how much he spent on that?
I think 400 ETH, and at the time, $630,000.
How does that make you feel when you see that happen as the owner of that IP?
It was interesting. And I think the feeling that we felt was we have a responsibility. Like we always had a responsibility when we came into this, but I'm not going to make Fudrick look like a bozo for that. Like, I promise. Like, I'm going to go to the ends of the earth to make sure that he looks like the biggest brain in Web3, and he can rub it in everyone's face with funny videos and just mock everyone for the genius decision that he made. You know, like I think that's really what it was. It was funny. It was cool. It was like, oh wow. And I knew he was he was placing bids on it for weeks, right? Like the guy wouldn't take it. They were just upping the price on him every time he bid. And so, you know, I think the first thing that we thought, like after the first hour of just like everyone freaking out on Twitter and it being a good time, like I called the team, like our C-level team, and I was just like, hey, this is fun, but like I want you guys to know that like, this is a responsibility, you know, like I don't take that lightly. Like I want to build this whole business, bringing value back to my holders. Like just as much as I want to build a business that does, you know, $600-800 million a year in consumer product good sales, I think that's fantastic. But like you have to tie all that value back to the people who believed first and believed in that first collection, right? And then eventually the second collection, which is little pudgies, and then even the fishing rods, which are, you know, fun. But like that's imperative to me. If not, like, what are you doing it for? Like one of my most fulfilling things that I've done is like in the e-commerce space, I'm pretty well known. And I've had like a little group that I've been mentoring for a long time. Some of the most fulfilling things I've ever done is like make people rich, right? Like I'm kind of known for that. Like I've got a moment to like actually have all of these holders and put them in an amazing position if I just do my job, right? Like I can transfer wealth to them in some capacity, and it's a beautiful moment. It's like kind of doing a lot of things that I'm passionate about in like one go. But I think when that happened, the first thing minus the 1 hour of euphoria was like, I'm not going to let this dude down, because like he put his money where his mouth is. You got to understand the nature of our business. We're the only project that's like net, like everybody else can go tomorrow and then you be net positive in some way. Like we're net negative. I spent $2.5 million to buy this thing, and like no other blue chip is in my position, but I put my money where my mouth is. That's what I do. And so when Fudrick did that, I was like, okay, welcome to the team, at least emotionally, because you put your money where your mouth is. And like, I respect that, because like there's very few people here that will really say that and do that. And I respected it, and I won't let them down.
Dude, and that's amazing. You were talking about like one of the greatest joys you find in life is like making other people money. And it's interesting enough, it's everyone that I know that had a like real life struggle growing up and then later became successful. The first thing they ever want to do is to like help others be able to achieve some sort of success. It's like, for me personally, like my favorite thing ever is to help people in some way. Like I love mentoring other creators and like teaching them how to make content, giving them tips. I am not rich, so I don't really know how to make money. I'm still trying to learn it myself. But what I can teach people is like how to create content, because like that will be a vehicle, hopefully, for some sort of monetization. So I really do appreciate that. And also, I will say, you know, Fudrick may have spent, you know, 400 ETH, and emotionally he's on the team. But I also bought a bunch of little pudgies at 0.15. So I would like to feel like I'm part of the team as well, sir.
Everyone who owns a little pudgy or a pudgy is a part of the team. Don't worry. You guys are all, I mean, it's one huddle. It's one family. I think the most unique part about the Penguin community is like, it really is like a family. I mean, I could have bought this thing and it could have been a disaster. I understand that, you know, what a good group of people. But it's interesting how certain IPs attract certain people, right? Like pudgy penguins, like 99.9%, obviously there's outliers, so I can't say 100%. Like there's always that one person who's just like, you know, not aligned, but like that attracts a certain demographic. It attracts a wholesome person. It attracts a kind person. It attracts a funny person. It attracts, you know, a family oriented person. It's not attracting like the Lambo driving, like rock star, like 28-year-old, like, you know, that's just like going through life, just like being a playboy. Like that's like what a Bored Ape, you know what I mean? Like if you're that, you know, so like if you have a Bored Ape, that's like kind of like the thesis there a little bit. But
what is a mutant like?
That's what I was
yeah, let's talk about that. What kind of person is attracted to a mutant ape? Please let me know.
I think it's you got like, for me, Bored Ape is cool and exclusive. I mean, that's their whole narrative. I think if you ask the founders, they would agree with that narrative. It's like, yeah, this is like the cool exclusive. This is supreme. This is sneaker reselling. This is street culture. This is, you know, this is that energy that you feel when you're on Melrose and Fairfax, you know, and you're just like walking on like a nice day and like everything is like vibing and popping, you know, like that's their thing. And I think it's phenomenal, you know.